From the Smokin' Delta Voodoo release, that is Every Mother's Nightmare with Push. Time to push into the new year, 2018. Ride that bitch for all she's worth. And kicking off the show tonight, we heard Dokken from Dysfunctional, Shadows of Life. And a guy that's kind of been in the peripheral vision of this show for 22 years today. This is my friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
Well, what is up, sir? Happy birthday, anniversary, all that shit to you, my friend.
Yeah, actually, 22 years ago today, I kicked the Classic Metal Show off in January of 6th of 1996.
Jeez, oh man, and that's the same day that your girlfriend was born, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So what's going on, man? How we doing?
Well, it's time to kick off 2018.
Dude, 3 weeks. Wasn't that nice? I mean, wasn't that a long time?
Well, it went by fast.
It did. I was itching. I'm joking because I was, as I told you on Monday or something, yeah. I was itching to get back to it.
Yeah, you were ready to do some radio.
I really was. I literally thought about calling you Wednesday to just kind of fuck around for an hour, just go live just for the fuck of it.
Just a fuck off show.
Yep, I really thought I was itching to get started again, man. I always get to the end of the year and I'm just fucking burned. And obviously last year had plenty of reason for me to be burned up. But I'm like Dokken with an album. You know, every time we talk to Don, he's like, I think I'm done. I'm going to fucking retire and just enjoy my garden. And then he goes away for like an hour and he comes back. He's like, I've got some good ideas and this is going to be the one, and that's how I really felt was at the end of the year. I was like, I need some fucking time away from this.
Yeah. I think it's a whole combination of things, both you and I are busy,
sure.
with our normal jobs.
Right.
And
sure.
then, we spew for 6 hours on a Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And come up with unique content every week.
Mm-hmm.
And, to use a Michael Butlerism, we do stream of consciousness because nothing is ever planned.
No, not at all.
And, after 52 weeks of doing that, it's just like, man, I need a little break.
Yeah. And it's funny because, and you probably remember this conversation because you remember everything. But when I came back to the show, do you remember me saying to you, I said, I'll do 40 weeks a year. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to do any more than 40. You're going to have to figure out somebody else for those other 12 weeks. I wanted 1 week off a month.
Right.
And we just haven't done that. We've gotten into such a groove that it's been like, whatever, man. It's fun.
Yeah, well, the fans have been great. The reception has been great. The downloads have been screaming. Sure. I peg us at our 4 million download mark about March 5th.
Okay, wow, so it's coming up.
Yeah. So about March 5th, I think that we'll hit our 4 million mark.
All right, well, start cutting these segments into like 55 parts.
Well, we did it without puffing the numbers.
Yeah, I know, I'm kidding.
We didn't puff the numbers.
No. And as we found out during the break, we don't have good numbers.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you wanna go in the context of one outlet, maybe not.
Yeah, that was like, oh, okay, good to know.
Well, we never concentrated the show podcast in one outlet. I mean, some people, obviously you use YouTube as their main outlet, and they
Sure.
and they pump YouTube, and they advertise their page and whatnot through the YouTube, and we've never done that. We've just done the show and then we put it out there.
Yeah, and wherever.
Yeah, whoever listens to it. If you listen to it via the Spreaker or the iTunes or the YouTube or the TuneIn or wherever it is that you listen.
Yeah.
Collectively it's a lot,
right?
But not one specific outlet,
right? Oh, by the way, you forgot to do this, so I'll do it. This segment is brought to you by Goodyear Tires.
Well, speaking of Goodyear,
everybody's so afraid that that's our big announcement,
right?
That we're selling out the show.
Yeah, yeah. So what is the difference between 365 blowjobs or a tire?
What is the difference between 365 blowjobs or a tire?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know, but I'll sure take the 365 blowjobs.
Well, one's a great year and the other one's a good year. Exactly.
Oh boy, what have you been watching? Whose jokes have you been watching today?
I broke out the old joke book from 6th grade.
I was gonna say, nice. I don't think they had the blowjob joke though in 6th grade. They might have, if it was in California and Jerry Brown was running the fucking state.
Exactly.
What a dude! Did you see this fucker? Is like, I saw something today about fucking Jerry Brown doing some kind of mandated education of gay sex in fucking schools.
Yeah, of course. Well, we gotta cater to the gays.
What a fucking queer that old fuck is.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that when he was the governor back in the 70s, there was a lot of controversial, measures that he was taking then. And surprisingly, 30 plus years later, he's back at being the governor again.
Yeah, who's electing this fucking ass fuck?
Well, the progressives or the liberals, I guess.
Ugh. I mean, he's so... How do you not look at your own fucking or W-2 every week or your pay stub and not say, man, am I getting fucked? How do you not do that? How do you not see that 10.5% going before anything else?
Well, I think people just would rather pay the high taxes and have good weather. I don't know.
Fuck that. I'd rather not pay the 10.5% and still have the good weather. Right. Like every other coastal city. I'm not thinking that Arizona's paying 10.5%. They got some pretty decent weather.
Yeah, but Arizona doesn't have the oceans and the mountains and
Arizona has mountains.
Well, they do, but it's not quite as picturesque as California, especially Southern California. But I lived in California for 6 years, and I got to admit, I mean, if there was a reason for me to be there, I would consider being there. But
even though you'd give up 4%.
No, I mean, let's just rephrase that. Barring recent activities.
Right. Okay.
California is a great place to live, as far as the atmosphere is concerned.
Yeah. I lived there for a few years. I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I loved that on the coldest day it was 75 and I could go to the beach.
Exactly.
That was nice.
Exactly.
I don't know if I would have liked it if I was, if I wasn't paying Ohio. I think at that point, because I was in the military, I still paid Ohio, place of origin tax, I think.
Sure.
So, I think, I don't even remember. I was fucking 19 years old. I didn't give a fuck.
Right. Why would you? Who thinks about that at 19?
Yeah. All I cared about at 19 years old was, can I afford a case of beer? That's all I gave a shit about.
Well, you gotta have that libation, man.
Yes, sir. Dude, I was so poor when I was living at Fort Ord.
How poor were you?
Well, Chuck, there was a little grocery store around the corner, and I couldn't afford anything. We were living on literally ramen noodles. We would buy like 2 frozen packs of vegetables so that we weren't only eating ramen noodles, and we would divide that up for like a month. And it was ramen noodles, and I would go into the Taco Bell and steal all of the sauce. And then I would buy like a box of spaghetti, and we'd have spaghetti with Taco Bell sauce.
Nice.
For dinner sometimes.
Delicious.
But I would get my beer because they had a beer called Buggy's Beer, and it was $3.99 a case. And it was, the bottles were like little grenades. They looked like little grenades, and they had that. What was that beer that had the wide mouth or whatever?
Oh, the pull tab had a big wide mouth beer.
Yeah, whatever that was, it was built like that.
Okay,
wide mouth, so you could chug this beer. But this beer was wretched. You just had to like chug 1 or 2 of them really quick, so that you could just burn up your tongue and then you could drink, because it was so bad. But like clockwork, every week I had my $4 in hand. I didn't have food, but I had $4 for fucking beer. It was a nice time.
Yeah. I miss those days.
I really do.
I miss those days. It was so simple then.
Well, as fucking fat as I am, I need to go back to that. Jesus.
Right. Nice. So good.
I hate being able to afford to eat.
Yeah.
It stinks, man.
Yeah, I hate having all the creature comforts and all the accommodations.
Yeah, I hate being wealthy enough to just fucking live and not worry about money. This sucks.
Yeah, we were poor, but we were happy.
Yeah, we were happy. Well, I was, well, sort of. I was still married to her.
Yeah. But you didn't know any better at that time.
Yeah, at that time, I thought misery was fun. I thought misery with the occasional blowjob was how it was supposed to be.
Right.
Boy, was I wrong.
Well, I was the same way. I got married early as well, and I thought that was how it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then I wised up and realized, hey, there's more to life than this.
Dude, it's just so bad when you think back about it. It's like, yeah, you go out and you got the hot wife with you, and you're like, man, this is everybody's looking at you, and they're like, how'd that guy get that hot chick? And you're like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. And then you go home and it's fucking misery. But you're like, okay, but that's okay, because when I'm out, people fucking think that I'm doing well. They don't realize what a fucking awful, disgusting, horrible life I'm living.
Right. Just keeping up appearances.
Yeah, oh, that was it too. I mean, my ex was hot, still kind of hot, but woof, boy, wasn't too hot when she was screaming at me. Now was she?
No, not at all.
Not that you have any experience with that.
No, I've never had anybody scream at me ever.
No, I'm talking about my ex.
Oh yeah, I know all about your ex.
Here's the sign on the window.
Yeah, I'll never forget that as long as I live.
So bad.
I will never forget that.
That was unfucking believable.
It was.
That was really unbelievable.
Just embarrassing you and putting me in a position of being uncomfortable, and
Yeah. It was bad.
I just sit there and think about how excited you and I were about like being able to hang out in person and do the show together and just kind of kick back and enjoy. And boy, it just got miserable quick.
It was wrecked.
It was in the first hour.
And then we tried to tiptoe around it.
Yeah, we tried to piece together the next 5 hours, and it was a struggle.
It was bad. You were like, the show ended at 3, and you were packed up and out the door at like 3:05 and like 30 seconds.
I was out of there.
You're like, pew, I'm out.
Yeah,
Bye.
I'm gone.
Send me anything I forgot.
Yeah.
Put it in the mail.
Right. and then the real war started.
Oh yeah, I was up that night till like 9 or 10 in the morning fighting. She hit me in the face with a fucking laptop that night. Wow. She fucking two-handed slapped me with the laptop right in the fucking mouth.
Wow. So when does that book come out?
Unfortunately, due to legal constraints, that one will not be coming out.
Right.
That's probably more than I'm supposed to tell right there.
That's too funny. Too funny. Oh, well. Hey, that is the history of the show. But thinking back, man, I'm thinking, remember already, and it's hard to believe it, but we did the 13th anniversary show.
Yeah.
At the Hi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Nader come in with London.
Yeah.
And that was already 9 years ago.
My God. That seems... Well, it's funny. You look at the picture that's on the... wherever it is, the Facebook or wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
Mikey's 10 or whatever, and I have no hair. And you're pretty much looking the same.
Yeah, for the most part.
You're looking the same. I'm looking like a hobo. And Mikey's looking like some kid we kidnapped.
Yeah. And now he's going to school to be a lawyer.
Yeah, I know. He's going to run this country eventually.
Yeah. If there's anything left to run.
Yeah, that is true. He might be a Japanese lawyer before too long.
That's true, or Chinese.
Yeah, he better learn some Mandarin or something.
Right.
Come on, Mikey, get with it.
Exactly.
Are we supposed to call him Mikey anymore, or is he now Mike?
Well, I call him Mikey.
I can't imagine me saying, "Hey, what's up, Mike?" to him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine me doing that ever.
Well, he'll always be Mikey to me.
Me too, I think.
I mean,
he always will be.
Little did you know it, but last weekend I was in your neck of the woods.
You were out here?
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping, Dick.
I drove in Friday evening.
Yeah.
Stayed in Cuyahoga Falls.
What the fuck?
Visited with my dad on Saturday and went home.
Gee, you couldn't have called me to grab a dinner for an hour?
Nope, couldn't do it.
What a dick.
I know.
Was this the introducing the fine young lady day?
Yes, she did accompany me. Yeah, she did.
Oh, is that our announcement?
No, that's not an
Engaged?
announcement. No, that's not an announcement.
Oh, it's not?
No.
You're not engaged? That's not the announcement?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was a visit because I hadn't, visited with my dad since early in the year. And it was the holiday, and I had the time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a ride over there and, visit. And, the reason the visit was so cut short is because that weather
it was
started moving in there pretty rapidly. I mean, coming to Ohio, just getting between South Bend and the Ohio-Indiana border was just a brutal ride.
Right.
And then once I got into Ohio, it was fine, but heading back, I was visiting with my dad, and about 3 o'clock, the snow just started coming down like crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought, I better get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So we headed back up to the Ohio Turnpike, and by the time we got up to Interstate 77 and the Turnpike, the snow was just coming down like crazy.
Right.
So we stopped in the service plaza there and waited it out for about an hour.
Okay.
And then headed west, and once we got out of about as far as Lorain, the roads were all clear and dry until we got to South Bend, and then it was 25 mile an hour.
When you were waiting at that service plaza, did you get her mittens sticky?
Not unless you consider the sauce at Panera the sticky part.
Is that what we're calling it now? The sauce at Panera?
Yeah, the sauce at Panera. That's what we're calling it.
Okay.
But it was just so brutally cold.
Yeah, it's bad.
And the snow was coming in really hard, and I thought, oh shit, maybe this wasn't a good idea to come this weekend,
Yeah. Well, and I can see why you didn't stop here. I mean, it is 9 miles out of the way. I see.
So it was just a quick turn and over and back.
Right.
Because the dad is getting up in years. He's 88 now, so I thought, I got to get over there and visit.
Yeah. But it looks like I'm going to be coming your way a few times this year. Did you I talked to our great fan. I'm going to say our greatest fan, at least today. Jerome.
Oh, you spoke with him?
Well, we emailed back and forth.
Okay.
And we came up with a great plan. I'm going to be in your neighborhood in the third week of May, I guess it is.
All right.
To go and see the Cubs and the Indians.
Oh, very nice.
Because he has Cubs tickets too, and I've never been to Wrigley, so that is my man, Jerome.
All right.
Free book for you, sir.
Very good. Very good. Mm-hmm. Well, do we want to talk about our major announcement?
We can, sure.
Since you're bringing up the fact that you are, making a trip to the Chicagoland area.
Yeah, apparently I'm making 2.
Well, yeah, that is true. Well, as somebody that we've had an association with for many years, probably our association with this esteemed organization / website probably dates back to about 2004.
Right.
And he's been a big supporter of the CMS, and he's been very cool to us when we were having the issues with the royalty collection issues on a couple of occasions, actually.
Right.
And now that we're back in that situation once again, he was very supportive, and we're talking about Andrew McNeese of melodicrock.com.
Right. Sure.
Now, Andrew has branched his brand out worldwide. He is the quote unquote, his website, melodicrock.com, is the authority in melodic rock.
Sure.
He's been around a long time. He features bands anywhere from stuff that are a little on the harder side to some of the lesser harder stuff, anywhere from Journey to Jeff Scott Soto to, a lot of bands that maybe that aren't necessarily mainstream.
Sure.
But he gives them a lot of support and a lot of love, and a lot of people who are fans of that style of music participate heavily on their message boards and, basically use his website for the latest and greatest in news and interviews and whatnot. And, Andrew's always been cool to us. And one of the things that he's done in the last, what would you say, the last 8 to 10 years?
Something like that.
He's branched out with having a yearly show, the Melodic Rock Fest.
Right.
And he's held it in various locations. He tries to keep it in the Midwest here in the U.S. Now, Andrew is located in Australia.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, he believes that he has made enough impact here in the States to where he puts on a yearly show, the Melodic Rock Fest. And this year, the show will be in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Right. Now, where is that by like Chicago?
Yeah, it's just a little northwest of the city.
Okay.
Not far.
Sure.
And he has asked Chris and I to be the hosts of the Melodic Rock Fest this year, which takes place May 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Right.
And so Chris and I will be hosting the 3-day event.
Yes.
As the Eddie Trunk of melodic rock.
We've arrived. We're taking a potential gig from Eddie Trunk.
Exactly. So we will be your MCs for the 3 days.
Yes.
And Chris has put the advertisement in the chat room.
I have.
So there it is. So if you are in the Midwest, Chicago area, May 4th, 5th, and 6th, come on out to Arlington Heights, Illinois, and be a part of the Melodic Rock Fest, number 5.
It's gonna be fun, man. And I'm going to be doing some book signings, and we're both going to be doing some meet and greets and all that kind of fun. Although, the meet and greet thing is a little weird to me because I'm going to meet with anybody. I'm not gonna wait till we're backstage somewhere for somebody with the right pass to shake my hand. That's
sure
fucking stupid to me. But
exactly.
But no, we're going to participate in all the things that are there, and we're going to definitely get on stage and do our thing a little bit. And we're going to have a table where you can buy some CMS merch. And I haven't talked to you about it yet, but I've actually thought about potentially putting together some specialty shirts just for the event.
Right.
And we'll have to talk about that and come up with a design fairly quickly to get that done. But and I obviously will have books, and we'll sign some books and all that other shit. So it's going to be a rare opportunity that we're actually going to be out and about in the same room. Dude, that was one of the things that was hard for me was I was working with the publicist. They're press releasing this on Monday for us. And they asked me for a photo of me and you together, and I didn't have one.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've ever taken a photo together, intentionally a photo together.
No, the one we have is the one from the Nader Fest.
Yeah, from 2013, right? Or no, 2000. Well, what was that? 9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago.
So, yeah, that's the last time you and I took a photo.
2009. Yeah.
I had like 1 or 2 photos from one of my parties, but I was completely fucked up, so I didn't want to use those. And then I sent you the pirate picture. You were like, "Yeah, don't use that photo."
Right, that was just a goof photo.
But I was scrounging around looking for photos. I didn't have a photo of you. I had pictures of me because I just did them for the Motley thing.
Exactly.
But I didn't have any of us together. I was like, Jesus, we're a fucking organized, well-oiled machine.
Well, it's not like people are clamoring for photos of you and I.
Yeah, not really. Maybe we'll get some printed and
maybe we'll print some. Yeah, we'll print some up and maybe do give them away. Why not?
Yeah, I guess that means I got to come there to take a photo, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you could have come here when you were 9 miles away, right?
Well, again, I would have, but the weather was shit. I mean, one of the plans is I was actually going to go visit Mikey. And,
Okay.
and I called him and I said, hey, how's the weather out that way? Dude, don't even bother coming out here.
Right.
He says, it's terrible. He says, the weather, the roads are terrible. He says, if you can brave it, come on out. But if I were you, I'd stay put.
So you're willing to drive another 50, 60 miles?
No,
but not another
no,
9.
it was a matter of trying to plan the day. And it was just like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. It's just head home.
I see how it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Yep.
But yeah, that's our big announcement. I'm sorry if it wasn't that we sold out the show, as I got 150 fucking emails and messages saying, please don't sell out the show.
Well, we're not going to sell out the show, but we did have a conference call with a marketing company.
Yeah.
And we may do a little bit of marketing in 2018. We'll see how that goes. There's nothing set in stone yet.
Right.
But, we do have our parameters that we're going to work within. And believe me, we will not sell out the show.
There's your pirate.
Did you put that in there?
You didn't put it in there.
I've got a bottle of, what is it? Something about Old Bastard Ale or something?
Bastard Ale or something.
That's Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah, but yeah, we are gonna I mean, depending on the schedules and how it all works out and what the marketing guy team are looking at doing, we might do some of it, but I will stress again, and I think we talked about this before we went on break. And you can vouch for this. I was very adamant and very clear that we would not be doing in-segment reads.
Yeah.
That we would not be doing, well, the new Queensryche album is great, but not as great as the Double Whopper that's on sale now at Burger King. We're not going to be doing that.
No. And
I said it. It was funny because we were in the meeting, and I said it, and he was like, well, people want to hear this. No, we're not going to do it. There was like no give in me on that at all. I was like, no, not ruining the show. Not going to do it. So people don't worry. Everybody worries like we're going to fucking just completely sell out the show.
Nope, it's not happening.
Can you imagine trying to do that?
Yeah. We've come 22 years, and we're not going to just all of a sudden go, well, 22 years, we're just going to change everything.
Yeah. We'll just give it away now so that we can make a couple of dollars. That sounds like a good plan.
No.
Nope.
No, but good things are in store, and I think 2018 is going to be a good all around, and I'm very excited about the Melodic Rock Fest. And being asked to participate in that because it's very cool, and I wanted to do something to help Andrew out as well. Not that my presence is going to be any big deal or draw any additional people, but be supportive.
Sure. And we'll interview some of the bands and stuff. I mean, there are some bands that are on the bill that are, stuff that we would definitely play on the show. Like Crazy Licks just comes right off the top of my head, that's playing the gig. I know that they play the same kind of stuff that we would play. So, we'll get some of the bands on and we'll definitely promote it and push it. And, hopefully we'll see some people in some CMS shirts, coming out and having some fun with us. And, you guys know how we roll. Something will come out of it. We'll be doing some kind of a podcast or a broadcast or something from there. Some of those details are still in the works, but we will do something from there. It's not going to just be we're going to be off for a week while we, say, hey, here they are, fresh from the UK. It's heat.
Yeah.
We're not going to just do that. We'll do something that'll make it fun.
Sure. So. And not only that, but just in case anybody's wondering, and not that it's any big deal, but Chris and I are volunteering our time to do this. We did not ask for any kind of an appearance fee or anything like that.
No, we did not.
So we're just doing this because we wanted to be supportive.
No, although I will say, and I'll give credit where credit's due, Andrew was unbelievably nice enough to give us some hotel rooms.
Well, that's very kind of him.
I was like, yes, that makes it a whole lot easier to come up and do it.
Exactly.
Where I don't have to fucking spend $500 in hotels. That makes it a lot better.
Look at Bobby Kenneth Doherty in the chat room. The Classic Metal Show, tonight's sponsor, Vinny's Scrapyard and Recycling.
Some people like heavy metal, Neely, but sometimes you got to throw that metal away. And when you do, where do you throw it? Over at Vinny's Scrapyard and Recycling. They'll give you 3 cents a pound, Neely. I don't know if you knew that.
For those of you who like to drink your beer, make sure you recycle those cans.
Yeah.
Just drop them off over at Vinny's Scrapyard and Recycling.
Yeah, proud sponsor of the Classic Metal Show. Yeah, that shit is not going to be happening.
Yeah. Very sticky.
Yeah. No, that's not going to be happening. Joe Rothschild in the chat room, are we still not playing licensed music? As of right now, we are not. But there is a lot of talk on that front as well.
Yeah.
Nothing I'm quite ready to announce yet.
Right. Things just have to be worked out.
Yeah. And they're in process. But to be fair, you and I have talked about that, and we're not necessarily going to go back to playing all licensed music anymore.
Right. That's true.
We're like, at least I am, and I'm pretty sure you are too. We're liking not playing the same tired shit over and over and over again.
And we've discovered some very cool bands.
Yeah, I mean you're on the Starblind bandwagon.
I love that Starblind stuff.
And what's that other one? First Freedom?
Yeah, Fifth Freedom.
Yeah, that's a solid band. There's a lot of solid bands out there. We're definitely discovering some new music, which is good. So,
and all the bands that Andrew has on his melodic rock label.
Sure. Yeah,
all those bands are available as well.
Yeah, all that stuff's available. The Chavis record label is available. The Auburn records are available. Pure Steel Records have made all their stuff available. We've got a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. Are there times that I would like to do a story and then fucking follow it with a song that's appropriate? Yeah, maybe. But I like what we're doing. Mm-hmm. I like not knowing the music and discovering new music. It keeps me interested.
Sure.
Because I'm, no offense to Doc and Rat, Warrant, whoever, Queensryche, Metallica, whatever. But I have all that shit here in my catalog at home. I don't need to fucking, when I'm doing the show, say, well, wait a minute, I can't take a break quite yet and go take a piss because I'm listening to Disposable Heroes. I don't have to do that. But I like having some interest in the music. You say, hey, here's this band. I'm like, oh, let me kind of stick around and see what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I noticed you were playing some Heat this week.
Yeah, it was. That's a good record, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to check out all these bands and get to know them a little bit so that if and when we do interview them, I can, do a quality job and not just be like, hey, so you're in a band. What's that like? What comes to mind?
What comes to mind? Could you introduce yourself and what you do in the band?
Yeah. So you're going to be at the Melrod Fest? What's that about? Where's that? No, I won't. I've been listening to some of it, just trying to get my head around it, and it's gonna be fun. I can't wait for that fest, and I just like the fact that I can actually get out and do shit again.
Exactly.
That is nice, man. I feel really bad that I'm not going to be there next week for the hockey game, but unfortunately, I still have a little bit of residual shit going on with my kid, but as far as like the getting the thing taken out of his chest, the port, whatever. And I would need to be back here that next day.
Right.
Which is, the game's at 7, which is 8 my time. So it's not even going to end till, midnight my time.
Well,
and then
the game has been changed to 11 in the morning.
11 in the morning?
Yeah, they changed it this week because it's going to be a national televised game.
Oh.
So they did change the start time.
Oh. Figures that's after I told you to send the tickets.
Yeah, and they're already sent back, so
that's fine. That's no biggie. I mean, I don't know anything about hockey anyway. I don't even know the rules. I know there's something about you can hit certain guys can go past certain lines, and you can't hit the puck past too many lines unless you're the goalie, which seems like you can hit it anywhere you want. And sometimes they call icing, and sometimes they don't. And I don't understand hockey.
Well, you just grab a stick and get in there and hit somebody.
Look, all I want to see is guys knock each other's teeth out.
There you go.
That's all I really want to see. I don't want to see all that skating and shit. If I want to see violent skating, I'll look at the fucking Nancy Kerrigan videos.
Exactly. Very good. All right, well, that is what's happening here in the brand new year of the Classic Metal Show 2018.
Yes, sir.
22nd year anniversary tonight.
Yes.
I was thinking, I saw that date coming up. I was like, 22 years.
Man, that's a long fucking time.
Yeah, and so you have to start reminiscing and thinking about, where the show's been and things that have been accomplished and the, things that we've participated in and whatnot. And boy, I tell you what, when I think back about the early days of the show and being the sole guy that did everything,
right?
I did the first live remote that WSTB ever did.
Sure.
The Rock Never Stops tour was out at the Midwest Fireworks out in Deerfield, Ohio.
Right.
And I rented a van and went out there and had the WSTB banner hanging off the side of the van.
Okay.
And I was doing live remote calls into the station from the Rock Never Stops show.
Nice.
That day. And that's when John Darlis got involved.
Oh, look at that.
So he came out and he was my intern.
Your runner?
Yeah, he was my intern that day.
Okay.
Yep. I got pictures of that. And then L.A. Guns, when L.A. Guns got back together with Phil Lewis and Tracy and Steve Riley. And they had a guy by the name of Muddy.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the band, and Mick Cripps was in the band at that time, and I rented a limo and picked them up at the Hard Rock because they were just doing like a little promotional tour for the Man in the Moon.
Okay, yeah.
And I hooked them up with the local record store there in Akron to do a meet and greet and a signing.
Right.
So I picked them up in Cleveland, brought them to Akron. They did like about an hour or 2 hour signing at the record store. And that's when WONE horned in on my action. I paid for everything and arranged everything, and then WONE comes rolling in there and takes credit for everything.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we brought them here.
It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, no, you did, you fucking asshole.
So I think of stuff like that and think about some of the controversial interviews that we did and some of the problems that we caused for some people.
Well, we've had plenty of that.
And our involvement with Metal Sludge behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And
what was your name?
Mine was Wild McCory.
Yeah, I was Yngwie McAlpine.
There you go. So you had two guitarists and I had two drummers.
Right. Perfect.
And, we were very early on in doing live broadcasts via the internet.
We were way early.
Way early.
Dude, I still remember those first couple of weeks that we were doing it. When you first went to Chicago and you were like driving for fucking like 2 hours each way to do the show.
Yep.
It's some old abandoned warehouse.
Well, it wasn't an abandoned warehouse, but it was a warehouse in St. Joseph, Michigan.
Yeah, like you were driving to another state to do the show.
Exactly.
So and the worst part was you were driving to another state to do the show for like 20 people.
Yeah.
Because like no one's. It was literally starting over.
Yeah, it was, but nobody was doing the streaming internet thing at that time.
No, I mean we were one of the very first. That we were on Live 365, and we were one of the very first stations doing anything truly live. I mean, there was a lot of people that had stations that would just upload music and then they would fill it with like recorded bumpers and stuff.
Sure.
But we were actually trying to do live.
Yeah, I set up a little makeshift studio in an office inside of a warehouse because they had a T1 line. Right.
Yeah. Wow. We've been through some shit, dude. And then remember when you were in that little apartment? And you had that one room, that was set up, but we just had nothing but problems with internet.
Well, You know, and the thing is I had two different internet services at once. I had Comcast cable and I had AT&T DSL in case one dropped off. I had the second one as a backup.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely, we definitely fought hard to get to where we are today, to where we can just do it. That's for sure.
Well, with the limited technology that was available at the time,
sure,
you know, we learned to work with it.
Dude, you remember when I was trying all those different phone software?
Yeah, the Gizmo.
Gizmo, yeah.
And then Skype started coming on strong, and obviously they were the best one, you know, to prevail.
Sure.
But yeah, we tried to use, I think, MSN Instant Messenger because it had an audio component to it, and we tried to use
AOL did for a little bit,
and Yahoo Instant Messenger also had like a audio component.
Yep.
And man, we were trying something new every week.
We were trying every week, and the worst part was we would start tweaking the system like an hour and a half before the show.
Yep.
And we would get it to where it was right. Everything would be perfect. And then as soon as we would start the show, boom, right to shit.
Yeah. And then we had those echo problems.
Oh, all the time. Everything was echoing. And I was always turning. You were like, turn it down. I'd have it turned so low I couldn't hear anything.
Right.
And I'd be like trying to comment. I had no idea what you were talking about because I couldn't hear you. But I'd still be like, yeah, that's what I think too. Just making shit up.
But we never gave up.
No, we never did. And the technology came around, and you know, and we were ahead of the game on a lot of the shit. We were way out in front on the podcasting too, really.
We were.
You know, we were doing that before a lot of people. Now everybody does it, but we were way out in front of that.
Yeah, we did podcasting as early as 2001 to 2002.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you know, we've told this story before, but we were putting the recording of the show up the next day, the full show, before there was all the licensing nonsense.
Sure,
remember those days?
Absolutely.
You would drive from the station at 3 a.m, or probably about 4 a.m. by the time you packed everything up.
Right.
And then you would drive to my house and put the tapes in my mailbox. And then I would get up at like 9, and I had to record each tape manually into my computer and then upload them. It was an all-day process just to get the fucking thing to be up. But by Monday, we would have it online so that people could hear the show if they missed it. And again, we were playing to, you know, because it was before streaming was even really a big thing. So we would be playing to like 50 people during the week.
Right.
But we had to do it. It was part of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It did. Now look at us. We're worldwide stars.
Stars.
Yeah. We're worldwide, baby.
Right.
People from Australia are clamoring for our attention.
Yeah, sure they are.
All right. Well, we've already burned an hour.
Wow. That's fast.
But, yeah. So, 22 years today, I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, that's a lot of time.
It is. Well, before you go to tunes real quick, I'm going to do something I don't usually do a whole lot of, but I have to throw a brief thanks out to the fans for buying my fucking Motley Crue book. Unbelievable. Over the Christmas break, I sold 800 some Motley Crue
Really?
books.
No kidding.
Just over the last, like, probably month. I mean, it was right before. From the time that we did the fuck-ups thing.
Mm-hmm.
From that segment until now, like 800 some books. It's been unfucking believable how many books have moved. Way, way exceeding what I ever thought this thing would do. Because, you know, it's a book about an album people didn't like.
Sure.
But I never thought it was going to do as well as it did. It's done unreal with the audio. People are liking the audio, and people are buying the regular book. And, you know, all I can say is thanks, because I know it's the CMS fans. I mean, I'm sure there's people that are hearing me on other podcasts or some morning shows that I've done and whatnot, and are picking it up that way. But I know who's buying the books. and buying the audio files or whatever. And all I can say is thanks, because, wow, I really didn't see that coming. I thought this was going to be my tweener book before the Korea book that would sell real well.
Right.
This thing has done unfucking believably well, so thank you. I definitely appreciate it.
And since you're in the thank the fans mode,
yeah,
I got to thank the fans for getting involved with mentioning their favorite segments that allowed me to put together the best of the Classic Metal Show for 2017.
Yeah, I have not listened to it.
Yeah.
I saw that it was like 8 hours or 9 hours.
No, it was just under 7. It was like 6 hours and 50 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So, I tried to include all the segments that everybody made recommendations for, suggestions for. I tried not to get something that was way too long.
Right.
But I tried to keep the segments, within the longest one being about 40 to 45 minutes.
Right.
But, it worked out really well. And, it ran a little bit longer than 6 hours, but I don't think anybody's complaining.
Well, that's good.
And I thought it turned out very well. And I think the only one that I threw in there that the fans didn't remember or didn't suggest anyway was Mr. Nicky.
Oh, Mr. Nicky. That chick that's like the Classic Metal Show are dickheads.
Bunch of dickheads, yeah. So that was my personal pick that I put in there, but otherwise I did put everybody else's suggestions in there and formulated the show based on that. So thanks for everybody who sent an email saying, hey, I want to include this.
Yeah. Well, now we got to start a new year. Doesn't that suck? We did so much good stuff last year. Now it's like, all right, now we got to do it again. Well, now we got to be good again for another 50 fucking weeks? What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, anyway, the best of 2017 is available over at the Spreaker or on the iTunes, and you can just download it if you want it.
Right. Definitely.
All right. So go check that out. All right. Well, let's play a couple of tunes. What do you think?
I'm in.
Well, since you mentioned Starblind, I'm going to play some.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm going to play some Demon Rider.
All right.
And we'll play a couple of tunes. We'll come back. Everybody go get a drink, and we'll get this shit rocking and rolling.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Well, here it is. This is Starblind. This one come from their Never Seen Again release, and this is Demon Rider exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.